Hello, Boyorinos. I wanted to give you my thoughts on this guy called Grotesque Subhuman. As some of you know, he's been receiving a lot of hate recently because he's been simping for this girl called Rowan. And, you know, I don't really want to go in on the hate train against him because, you know, I agree with incels. You know, he is a simp and all that, but I mean, I think one thing that a lot of incels are missing out is that, you know, do you know his situation? I mean, have you tried putting yourself in his shoes? I mean, he's like, you know, he's a 40-year-old virgin. I mean, okay, not virgin, but, you know, the stereotype, you know what I mean? And, you know, a lot of us try to fantasize and think that, well, that is never going to be me, you know. I'm going to, when I'm at his age, I'm never going to simp. I will never, like, degrade myself. I will never step myself to that level. And you know, it's awesome that you perhaps think like that and don't want to get in that situation. That's awesome. I'm not against that. You know, if that's your mentality, that's all right. But at the same time, like, how do you know that you will not become the same guy? You know, 40-year-old simping for e-girls. I mean, you know, we sure like to stroke our own egos and say, well, that's never going to be me. You know, I'm never going to be that simp, that old 40-year-old simp or whatever. But how do you know that, you know? How do you know? I mean, you know, it's easy to get on the hate wagon and, you know, bash this guy, calling him a, you know, simp, cuck or whatever. And, you know, if you want to do that, go ahead. I'm not stopping you. All I'm saying with this is that, you know, try to put yourself in his shoes. I mean, are you that 40-year-old lonely guy? Are you that? And, you know, because I assume that most of you aren't, you know, so how can you say that, you know, how can you really judge him when you're not on that level yet? You know, how will you know that you're not going to be in that same situation when you are 40 years old? I mean, you know, so I agree with both sides, you know. I try to be a reasonable guy. I agree with the incels. I mean, yeah, he is simping hard, but I mean, it's still understandable, you know. When you get to that age and you're a lonely guy, you receive no attention, you have no friends. I mean, and you're seeing your parents growing old and dying. I mean, that's harsh, man. That is really harsh. I mean, you cannot. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I can't stop any of you, you know, from hating him. You know, hate him all you want. You know, call him a cuck, call him a simp. You know, whatever. You know, all I'm trying to say is that, you know, try at least to have some sympathy for him. That's all I'm saying. I mean, but I know that a lot of you are like, no, we need to kill all these simp cells and cucks and all that. They're degenerate and whatever, you know. A lot of incels have that mentality, and which is fine. But I mean, all I'm trying to say is just, you know, like, how do you know that you would not be in his situation when you are 40 years old? I mean, you just cannot know that, you know. You cannot predict the future. So that's all I'm saying, you know. Yes, I agree with what a lot of you guys say, you know. Yeah, he's falling for the trap of these girls, like, faking it and trying to act all sympathetic towards him and all that. You know, girls, they infiltrate every type of community, you know, so it was just a matter of time before they were going to infiltrate our community as well. So, you know, all of that is just inevitable, you know. And some incels fall for it, you know. Sometimes you do get guys that were you know, quote unquote based or whatever, like Grotesque Subhuman, back when he used to hate women and tell them to destroy their own faces with acid or whatever. I mean, you know, that's the kind of guys that we want in our community. We want those angry, funny guys, you know, that are based and all that. But you know, those are the ones that provide entertainment and all that. But now I think we lost one of those guys, unfortunately, and it sucks. But I mean, if I try to see it in both ways. I mean, if this is what he wants, I mean, let him do it. I mean, it's his life. If he wants to fall for it, I mean, what can you do? I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, if that's what makes him happy, I mean, whatever, you know. So all I'm saying with this is that, like, just try to, you know, see it from his side as well. You know, try to put yourself in his shoes as well. I mean, it's just a horrible situation. I mean, you're all alone. You're 40 years old. You're gonna die alone, and your parents are dying, and you have no friends. And I mean, that's harsh, man. You know, so I agree that he's a simp and all that, but I mean, how can you blame him? You know, it's like, this is how tough it is for a man right now. I mean, they have to resort to this sort of simpery to maintain their own health. You know, that's the harsh reality about this. You know, this is serious stuff. You know, we cannot get rid of that biological programming. We do have a better. We are more healthy when we have female companionship, and we are healthier. That's just a scientific fact, you know. So if it helps his health, you know, if he does seem more happier at least than before. So I mean, that's good for him, but not so good for us, because we want that angry incel back, and so, you know, we're not going to be able to cope with his videos anymore, I guess, because I don't think he's ever going to return to that sort of guy again. But, you know, it's his life. You know, he can do whatever he wants. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't have much else to say about that.